We are now coming up on 3 hours of this hearing, mostly questioning the defense secretary by members of the Senate Armed Services Committee. And one of those senators joins me now, Tammy Duckworth. Thank you very much for taking the time out of the hearing to be with us. We've got a lot to cover. And I want to start, if I can, with a claim that Secretary Hegseth made about the 60-day deadline to get congressional authorization for the war in Iran. I want to play that exchange.
Is the president intending to either seek congressional authorization for the war in Iran or send us the legally required certification that he needs an additional 30 days to remove U.S. forces from the war?
Ultimately, I would defer to the White House and White House counsel on that. However, we are in a ceasefire right now, which our understanding means the 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire. They're not in. Yeah. It's our understanding, just so you know.
Okay, well, I do not believe the statute would support that.
Senator, is it your understanding that the 60-day clock on the War Powers Resolution is currently stopped because of a ceasefire, and so tomorrow the president would not be required to seek congressional approval or end hostilities?
Yeah, there's no stopping the clock. He has a maximum of 60 days to come to Congress to justify the war, and he's supposed to provide us with evidence and proof of imminent danger. That, you know, we were going to come under attack imminently. The last day that he can do that is tomorrow. So this is a fake deadline that they've come up with by reading the law backwards. But this is what the Trump administration does, is they keep firing legal counsels until they get one who will say exactly what they want to say. And now, as we approach their fake 60-day deadline, I'm imploring my Republican colleagues to stop abandoning their constitutional duty and finally join us in reining in Trump's disastrous, costly war. But no, there's no stopping of the clock. The statute says nothing about that.
So could he be the president, if he doesn't take those actions tomorrow, be setting up a constitutional clash that could unfold over the next couple of weeks?
Yes, very much so. And I'm outraged that Senate Republicans continue to cede their constitutional authority to this warmongering wannabe dictator of a president. I mean, he's hell-bent on throwing our service members into needless danger, breaking every single promise he's made to the American people, and he's not taking care of business here at home. And now, you know, there's this, what they've got, their fake justification, and frankly, he's already spent, what, $25 billion at least. I think that's a lowball number, and it's not helping Americans here at home.
There's another question that was raised by your colleague, Senator Mazie Hirono. Let me play that exchange.
Did you order the review to support a potential decision to overturn the policy of having women in combat roles?
We are laser focused on standards. The highest male standard for every combat arms position should be the standard. And 10 years into this, we are reviewing it, which is what the American people would expect.
Will you make the study public?
Will you make that study?
Yes or no?
We're doing the study for that very reason, to ensure that real science is applied to this question and not social engineering like the previous administration.
Yeah, I want to expand on that because he said earlier, Secretary Hegseth did, he accused Democrats on the committee and the previous Defense Department of being focused on, and I'm quoting him here, hype, social engineering, gender, race, in ways we think, he says, were unhealthy for the department. You served in the Reserve Forces for 23 years before retiring at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. What's your reaction to that?
Well, Pete Hegseth is an incompetent fool. He is a misogynist, and he's been trying to get rid of women's role in our military. He obviously must have lost out a promotion to a female service member at some point and is, you know, on a personal vendetta. But bottom line, in the testimony, he said, we are doing this to the highest male standard, as if there were only two standards in the military. And in fact, the physical fitness standards are actually graduated based on age as well. So a 40-year-old serviceman does not have to run the 2 miles as fast as an 18-year-old serviceman. So it is also differentiated by age as well as by gender. And frankly, you know, as someone who served in a combat arms branch, and I volunteered to serve in the first combat arms branch that actually accepted women into combat roles, which is as a helicopter pilot. I know what the experience is. I know that our women who have met those standards have met the standards. They're doing their jobs. They are actually out there participating and taking care of the business at hand. And frankly, our nation's military could not go to war without its female service members. And yet, Pete Hegseth is on this personal vendetta. In fact, he's fired every female four-star general and tried to stop the additional promotion of 2 African-American women generals from getting additional stars. And that's why, the former Army Chief of Staff quit.
Let me ask you finally, some House Democrats voiced frustration after yesterday's hearing that they didn't get the answers they were looking for from the secretary. Some even accused Hegseth of lying. Your colleague, Senator Blumenthal, just said that he was surprised by the, quote, willful blindness and self-delusion coming out of that room. So if that is a majority opinion among Democrats and maybe even a Republican or two, is there anything you can do about this? Is there any real power in oversight, Senator?
Well, this is where we take it to the American people who have the ultimate oversight, right? The American people can see that these folks are lying. Donald Trump said he's winning the war. Pete Hegseth all day today for the last 3 hours is talking about how well he's doing. He's not doing well. He's incompetent. Our military men and women, they're doing their jobs well. They always have been. They're the highly trained, highly proficient professionals. But unfortunately, their civilian leadership in Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump are incompetent. They're burning billions of taxpayer dollars. Americans are not better off. The Strait of Hormuz is now mined. We've taught Iran that they can charge $1 million a ship to go through the Strait of Hormuz. Trump's illegal war of choice is forcing prices up and putting Americans in needless dangers. And it's already cost 13 service members their lives and injured hundreds more. That's not winning a war. And frankly, they continue to hide their incompetence behind the valor of our troops. This is what this is all about. And he continues to hype this up, and they say whatever they want. But we know we have a liar for a president and obviously a liar for a Secretary of Defense as well.
He also suggested that the reason the American people don't support this war is because of the misinformation that Democrats are putting out there. Senator Tammy Duckworth, I really appreciate you coming out and taking the time to talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you.